Hello and welcome to the next edition of the Full-Time Whittle Podcast. I'm delighted to be joined by one of the biggest names in Rugby League, Zak Hardaker. Zak, first and foremost, thanks for joining me.
No, it's my pleasure, mate. Thank you for having me.
So I really appreciate that you come on today. I'm sure you'll have some great stories. And first and foremost, to start the podcast with all guests, I always like to begin where your childhood all began, really. You grew up in West Yorkshire. What was your childhood like? What was it like to grow up in Yorkshire?
I'm a bit of a home bird, so Yorkshire's the best thing since sliced bread. It's God's country, as all Yorkshire people say. But no, mate, no, I had a great childhood. My mum raised me till on her own for about 5 or 6 years. Then I met my stepdad, who has been absolutely an instrumental rock in my rugby career, and we could touch probably on that a bit later on. But my mum gave me everything that I've ever wanted. A spoiled little brat sometimes, but close knit little family. I was really energetic, wanted to play with every other kid there. In the playground, I was running about trying to burn loads of energy off. I had a really good childhood, mate. Really enjoyed it. I've still got the friends from school, still my close friends now. From growing up, to junior schools to high schools, fully enjoyed going to. I love social interaction. I love meeting new people. I love just being around people. So if I'm on my own, and I'm sure we'll touch on it later about the lockdown situation and stuff, I really, really hate it. So, I was a fun, bubbly kid, a little bit mischievous, but obviously we can touch on that a bit later. I had a great childhood, mate. There's nothing that I can say that I'd change. My mum did an absolute fantastic job, and then, my nana looking after me when my mum was on nights, and my uncle, really, who my auntie was my second mum, and my uncle who raised me like his son till he had his own. So, like I said, a close knit little family, but it was really good. And like I said, they did everything that I ever asked. If I ever wanted a toy or the next best thing, pair of boots, it was always given to me. So probably a bit spoiled, but great growing up in Yorkshire. Loved it.
It sounds brilliant. And was you an only child, or do you have siblings?
Yeah, so I'm the only child, mate. So I've actually I've got a half sister, I've got the same dad, but didn't have much really to do with her until I got a bit older. She's I think she's about 35 now with two kids, and we do speak, not all the time. So it's not weird, it's not complicated. It's just we'll speak when we see each other, or we'll give each other quite a message. Grew up on my own. Like I say, I think that played a part in being having everything, wanting everything, and my mum trying to provide everything for me. So lonely child. That's why probably I wanted to be with everyone. Pardon me, sorry. I wanted to have sleepovers. I wanted to be with my friends all the time. And then that's where the aspect of sport came in, really. Any sport you name, I wanted to be in it. I joined the team, whether I was 3 or 4 playing football in the park, or when I started school, 6 or 7, I played every sport going. So I think it was very noticeable at a young age that I loved playing sports. I loved being with other kids, really, and being in the outdoors.
It sounds brilliant. And at school, what were your favourite subjects? I know you touched upon that. He was very sporty. A bit like a lot of young people, young lads growing up. You want to play everything, whether it's cricket, football, rugby,
Yeah, of
even
course.
badminton.
Yeah, mate. But badminton, I got when I was at high school, I got picked for the Yorkshire district at basketball. I played cricket. I got picked obviously for rugby. I got trials at Leeds United. I got scouted for the athletics, at 400 and 800 meter running. So yeah, there's quite a lot of stuff that I was quite good at, and I just really enjoyed doing it. And I think it was a way of my mum just. I've got ADHD, which is attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, which we could touch on a bit later. I didn't get diagnosed until I was 16, until 2016. So I think that played a massive part for when I was young. I was always, like I say, hyper. I always wanted to be on the go, and I think that really helped me in my rugby career. But like I say, we can touch on that a bit later. But yeah, I was always wanting to do something. I always wanted to play a sport, play with someone. And I think, yeah, just being that bubbly person and always on the move, wanting to do something different, enabled me to play different sports, to pick up different aspects of that sport, to pick up different attributes, if you like, and stuff like that. So, yeah, very, very busy kid when I was younger.
It's funny because when I was listening to that answer, you mentioned that your trials at Leeds United, obviously you was very good at rugby league. It's such a contrast between us two, because I was a kid that get picked last at any sport. So you could clearly see an athlete between an amateur, and I love sport, but I was never quite good. But in terms of more rugby league now, when did you first start playing rugby league more seriously, and how did you fall in love with the sport?
So, like I said, like I touched on earlier, my mum instead had when I was about 6 years old, something like that. And like I touched on earlier, I was a bit of a nuisance. I was running around the house. I was always wanting to do something. I was kicking. I was screaming. I was just bolting up and down the stairs. And I think my mum was like, "What can we do with him?" To my stepdad, like what can we do to burn his energy? I think was the main output really. So my stepdad had a friend who coached a rugby team called Nottingham Rockware. Unfortunately it's folded now, that team, but that club. So he took me down, and I didn't even train. It was a Saturday morning. It was a game. Never played it before. Never understood it. I was 7 years old. Got the kit on. Got some boots. And the coach basically said, "Look, there's a." As plain as it can be, really. There's a line of boys there. You get the ball, you put the ball over that line there, you score a try. I was like, okay, and this is God's honest truth. So I was on the subs bench, because obviously I've never played. Caught the ball, and where we was playing at a pitch called Fryston, and there was about 2 or 3 pitches side to side. So I've picked the ball up on my pitch and I've run across onto the other pitch, where obviously there's no game there, and scored a try on a pitch that no one's playing on. So all like obviously all the parents, everyone's thinking, what on earth is he doing? So I did that, and then the guys were like, well, the coaches, my step, were like, no, this is the pitch, this is the trial. I saw like, okay, so that's my first introduction to rugby league. I scored a really fantastic 80-metre try, but it was on the wrong pitch. And then, the about 5 minutes later, I ended up scoring 2 tries. I hurt my knee on the right pitch this time. Yeah, this time I scored 2 tries, and I went through the old. I hurt my knee, started crying as if it's fallen off. The magic sponge came on. I can remember that to this day. Oh, magic sponge, shot up. It's healed, and from that day, mate, I fell in love with rugby league. And then, like I said earlier about interaction with other people, we'd play on a Saturday, and then we'd go to the Nottingham swimming baths. That's where I was living at the time, just near Pontefract in West Yorkshire. So we'd play rugby on the morning, and then most of the team would go swimming. And at the top of the swimming bath, you could have like chicken nuggets and chips and stuff. So it turned into like a bit of a social day, really. So it was rugby that we all loved on a morning, then it was swimming and just enjoying ourselves in the afternoon. And then it was a bit like having tea together, and then obviously you go home. So I think all that factors into why I fell in love with rugby, really, at first. And then obviously it progressed as I got older. I started getting involved into different sports and stuff. But yeah, I was 7 years old, mate, and I could, like I say, I scored a try on a different pitch. I scored 2, magic sponge, and since that day, I loved rugby league.
In terms of the sport itself, what elements of rugby league do you enjoy the most? Do you enjoy the tackling side? Obviously, the feeling when you score a try.
Yeah, so it's probably changed over the years, really. So at first, when I was young, it was probably just being with my friends, being outside, and trying to score. I think that was the feeling, your parents cheering on the sideline. I think that's always a great feeling. Obviously, I still get that feeling today if I score, and my mum and stepdad and my partner and stuff are in the stands. But as I've got older, yeah, it's changed a little bit. Obviously, I played fullback majority of my career so far. When I was at Leeds, I really prided myself on my defence as a fullback. So I actually really enjoyed saving a try. So I'd take that really personal, that if I had a chance of stopping it and it was a bit of a 50-50 chance and they scored, I'd really take that personally. And for me, if I stopped them in a 50-50 challenge, and stop the ball from getting put down on the try line, I'd probably take more out of that than actual scoring. Factor that into a team where it was full of legends at the time. And it's not until now, and I'm not into that team, and some players are retired, and I look back at that team and just think how incredible of a team it was, and how good of a organisation Leeds Rhinos is. But when you're in there, you don't really necessarily take it for granted. Well, you take it for granted, really, that you're at Leeds Rhinos. It's a club that you've seen on telly. The likes of Rob Burrow, who lived near me, who I used to spot around when I used to be 16, walking the streets. I'd see him in his car, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's Rob Burrow." He was the first one that took me to training at Headingley, because obviously I didn't know how to get there. Kind of took me under his wing until I got a bit taller than him. So I started after looking after him. But just all that, mate, rolled into something at Leeds where, like I say, the defensive element of being a fullback, I took really good pride in it, and just being a part of the team that was so successful at that time, really enjoyed it. And over the years, it's changed. I had a year at Castleford, and there I really enjoyed scoring tries. The flair of the team was. Well, I don't think I've not seen it before, and I've not really seen it after. I know they do still try and play that style of rugby, that brand of rugby, but I'm not sure it could be replicated. I could be wrong, but I'd be surprised if it was. It was a terrific year. How we played and how we just destroyed teams it was like being in the park with your friends again at 12 years old. Training was really good, and it was just the finesse of it, really. The fans came down, and it really ignited the town. Obviously, we can touch on what happened that year as well, which was a bit, big mistake on my part. But and then from there, obviously, I've come to Wigan, and then I've been playing centre last year. I've been playing centre against this year, and the tables have changed this year. I really enjoy defending. I'm quite aggressive. If people don't know that, if people have not watched me, I'm a quite aggressive player. But I really love the challenge of the physical aspect, and I think that's what really got me into rugby league was. Not trying to hurt people, because I don't want to hurt anyone, but just in the best possible way, tackling them and hurting them without obviously doing it in a bad way. You know what I mean? Just doing a great hit, or doing a defensive read, or stopping a try that would have been a try, something like that. So as I've got older and as my positions have changed, and different teams. The outlook on me and the outlook on what I want to achieve in that team or that year or that game has pretty much changed throughout the years, mate.
It's a great summary of your career there. Almost, it was you started off at
Yeah.
Leeds, Castleford, Wigan
Yeah,
Warriors.
sorry, I
You're
just
doing
chucked it all in.
It's perfect for me to be a host of a podcast and have the guests do all the work. And in your answer there at the start, with you mentioned Rob Burrow. Obviously, at the moment he's going through some really tough times with motor neurone disease. How did that affect you when you found out? And do you still speak to Rob?
Oh yeah, it was terrible. So I've not heard much about it really. Obviously, I knew it was still at, at Leeds Rhinos. I think it was coaching the under-19, something like that. And I've not heard anything. So it was quite. I'm not saying it was kept secretly, but I think it was something that was internal. And I first heard it on the. I think it might have been on Sky Sports News, and then I seen it on Twitter, and everyone started talking about it. And then, I sent him a text straight away, and obviously, I wasn't expecting anything back, but I just wanted to, show my support and just to let him know that, I'm here and I'm thinking of you, kind of thing. So, and then it might have been a day or two after. I think he did an interview, and just his speech. From the Rob Burrow that first picked me up outside my mum's house, to take me to training for the 5.5 years, for the 6 years of playing with him and knowing Rob and how he acted and how he interacted with human beings as not just as players, but his family, his kids, the kids on the terraces, the flamboyance of him. To hear him do an interview, mate, where he's stuttering, his speech was really bad, and I could just see it in his eyes, and I started crying, mate. And to be fair, I watched it about 4 times. I don't know why. I watched it over and over again. This interview that he did, and I just cried all the way through it about 4 or 5 times, and it just really saddened me to see a bloke that that would do so much for you as a person, whether he knew you or not, that had an amazing career, that had done everything right. He's not a big drinker. He doesn't do drugs. He doesn't. He's the epitome of a professional athlete. To see him to go through all that and then get to the age, I think, I don't know, 37, 38, and get diagnosed with something as bad as MND, and then to see him, go down that quickly. It's hard, mate, and especially me living in Wigan. If I was probably round back home, around Pontefract from where I'm from, I'd have probably seen him a little bit more. I'd have probably heard it more, but I felt like I was miles away. Well, I am miles away, but I'm not that. I'm an hour and a half on the motorway away, but it felt like I was, on a different planet, and I couldn't believe what I was really seeing and hearing and listening. And that was difficult. And then I went to the Leeds Rhinos played Bradford Bulls, and they got some of the legends to play on that game. And Rob Burrow came on for the last 15 minutes, and I got invited to got invited to the VIP section at the top, and it was great to see some old faces. And I saw Rob just before he went downstairs to get changed, and I gave him a big cuddle and a kiss, and there was a bit of a tear in each other's eyes, and I could just see, it really hurt. So and then obviously I sat in the stands and watched him go on there, and all the emotion that came with it. All the fans were there, felt it. And it's really sad to see, mate. It really is. But all I can say is what an absolute trooper he's doing. He's raised, well, I think Kevin Sinfield raised over 2.5 million himself just from doing marathons for Rob. The fight that he's got in him, to say he's about 4 foot. He still has a joke. I'll still have a joke with Rob, but the fight in him is unbelievable. for himself, his wife, his children. And it's not just about him. I think he's trying to raise the profile of MND. Obviously, it's something that I didn't know personally about it. I don't think Rob knew about it until he got diagnosed. So, and there's people out there without a big voice that have probably got it and they're suffering, and there's nothing that they can do. So, it's great what he's doing. I'm really proud to be a friend of Rob, and I'm really proud to have played. The good part of his best years with him, and it's someone that I know, and I've kind of grew with him in the aspect of as a rugby player. So it was really sad to see him, mate. But he's trooping on, and every time I see him, it does hurt a little bit.
Hearing that answer has even made me a little bit emotional. It's clear how much of an impact he's had on your life, and obviously growing up and getting lifts off Rob to training and learning the man he is away from the field. What stories do you have of Rob? And in terms of him to you, is he quite a big role model?
Yeah, he's a small role model. When I'm joking, I'm trying to take the seriousness off him, because that's the Rob Burrow that I know. So like I said earlier, I can remember being on the streets, and he used to have a white Audi TT, and it used to have R7 BRW, so Rob Burrow, really, on the reg plate. And all my mates would be like, "Oh, it's Rob Burrow," and it'd just go by in it. I was like, wow, like, it's Rob Burrow, fucking hell, bloody hell. Anyway, this is at 16, 17. And then obviously I was at Featherstone, I got signed. I could have signed for a few clubs, so I went round Hull FC's training ground. I got offered at Warrington Wolves. I heard that Wigan was interested in me, but that wasn't really related until I actually signed for Leeds. That came apparent about 2 weeks later. So, I could have been a Wigan player years ago. But anyway, I got to Leeds. Yeah, that's it, mate. Yeah, I got to Leeds' training ground, and they showed me the facilities, and I'm like, wow, I've gone from training in underneath the stand of a stadium at Featherstone Rovers with freezing cold weights on a Tuesday and Thursday night, to this 5-star gym with 6 fields, with a 3G pitch at the side, with an amazing gym. And then they took me to Headingley, the stadium, and obviously it's uses people for university as well. So it's not just a stadium. It's public. You can go in there. You can have dinner. You can have tea, and that's where most of our dinners and teas when we was at Leeds we had there. So the first time I got there, I got there with Gary Everington and my stepdad, and we walked in, and I know for a fact it was set up, but it was set up brilliantly. I walked in. There was Jamie Jones Buchanan, Rob Burrow sat down talking, and they both jumped up, came over, made a big fuss of me, and ever since that, I made it up in my mind I was signing at Leeds, just from Jamie Jones and Rob Burrow, especially Rob Burrow, because like I said, I've seen him drive around in his car on the streets from where I'm from, and that impacted me massively, mate. And that made my decision straight away. Just them two being there and talking to me for 5 minutes, and then obviously signing there. He picked me up for the first week, maybe 2 weeks. So I can remember sat down. I had all my Leeds kit on my first training session, and he had a 2-litre petrol Audi TT, and it purrs a little bit in the exhaust. I know I'm going off a bit off topic here, but when it's quite outside, you can hear the exhaust going. So I'm sat down and it's all quiet, and I'm waiting for my mum, and it's like, I think it's about 7:15. So I'm looking at the watch. I'm like, oh, it'll be here in a minute, and I'm really nervous because I've never really spoke to him, and I've got to be in a car with him for 35 minutes, 40 minutes. I'm like, what do I talk to him about? Like, it's Rob Burrow. Like, I don't know what to say. Anyway, I'm sat there and I hear this. I'm like, is it? And then the text message, I'm outside, mate. I'm like, oh fuck, is he? So I jumped in, tried to talk cool. Yeah, and like I say, it took me under his wing, mate. Like for the first 2 weeks, he took me training, took me home, kind of showed me the ropes, and then when I after about a year, I got a pay rise. I could afford a good car. I actually bought a black Audi TT, and he had a white one. So, and this is God's honest truth. I bought it because Rob Burrow had a white Audi TT. So I went for the black one and the diesel. So he had the white petrol, so I went for the black diesel because I thought if I get the exact same, then they'll absolutely hammer me. So, and that's the impact he had on me, just from a small conversation at Headingley at Cafe. Made me sign there. It was the first one to take me training, and then I copied his car when I had enough money to buy a car. So yeah, a massive impact on me, massive impact on Leeds Rhinos. Forever will be remembered as a Rhinos great and a Rugby League great as well. And I think I think there's been a few programs on Sky Sports News now about the Rob Seven and I think his old coaches or the players that he used to play with and they've admittedly said like, who's this little guy? Surely he can't play, and it totally changed the way Rugby League was played. It wasn't just your big bald forwards that weighed 19, 20 stone. It was this little 5'2" guy who was quick as lightning, and by the time you've turned around, he's gone past you, whizzed past you, and scored on the stick. So it was a lovely documentary. It was on Sky Sports News. I think you can still search for that now, but that was great to see because obviously I didn't really see all those kind of games when he played. But yeah, terrific bloke, and like I say, he's still battling through it now. So yeah, he's a little warrior.
He was a real revolutionist to rugby league. Like you said, in terms of a man of his size, traditionally rugby league is for big 6 foot plus guys, 19, 20 stone. But he was, as you said, 4 foot and quick, and he did an excellent job. And we'd both probably like to wish him all the best in his recovery. There's actually no problem about it. He's always in everyone's thoughts. And to go back to yourself now, at this moment in time, you're entering your 3rd season at Wigan Warriors, and the one thing that the fans have noticed is a bit of a swagger in the game, and there's a smile always on your face. How much are you enjoying your time at the DW Stadium?
Yeah, I love it. From first time, Wigan's always been a club that let me try and put these words right because I don't want it to sound not hated but disliked, but really well respected. So obviously when I was at Leeds, it was Leeds Wigan really. Every time we played Wigan, it was like going into World War III. I'd come away with, I can remember getting the ball, Mickey Mack standing on back of my ankles, John Bateman poking me in the eye, Joel Tompkins, Sam Tompkins, all these players. I can remember coming off the pitch battered and bruised, and you were in for a real war. And it was one of those clubs that I was really excited to play against, but also like kind of disliked them at the same time because they was good. And obviously, I hate getting beat, but it was always a club that I've always said to my stepdad, if I did go over to the dark side, over to Lancashire, Wigan would be probably the ideal fit for me, with the competitive nature of the club, how they play, with Maguire there before and Sean Wayne, I kind of knew the ethos of how it was run. Through being on England camps with like the likes of Sam Tompkins and John and George Williams and Oliver Gildart, and they told me, look, it was tough. It was really, really tough training. Sorry, I've just had a protein shake, so I've just got a few burps, so I do apologise. So I kind of knew the ethos of the club and what it stood for. And when I got the chance to sign at Wigan, it was kind of a no-brainer. I've spoke to Chris Odlinski for a number of years, and it was a major factor of me signing. I actually was a Wigan fan when I was younger. My dad used to take me to the grand finals, and majority of the times Wigan was in them, so it was quite an easy team to follow. I've got pictures of myself with I'm actually laid in the bath with cherry and white on my face, and I've got the word Radlinski painted
Wow.
on my forehead after one of the grand finals. And when I signed up Wigan, I actually brought it to Chris and gave him it. So it's a club that I actually did support, and then I kind of changed. When I got older, it was a bit like, I can't support Wigan; they're not from Yorkshire. So that's when I went for the traditional Leeds Rhinos, Leeds United kind of thing. So, but yeah. So like I say, when I got the chance to sign at Wigan, I knew what Wigan was about. I felt like it fitted me, and I'd fit the club. Obviously, there's things gone on in my life that's not been perfect, but I think speaking to Chris Rodlinski and Ian Lenigan, they've had, they've not had the players that have always been great. I don't want to mention some names, but they've had players in the past that have done stuff wrong, and we're going to seem to have turned them around and worked really well with them, and that was another reason for me wanting to be here, and the fans as well. The first year I was really nervous of how the fans would take me, especially after of the drugs ban. Social media can be great. Social media can be absolutely awful at times, and I had it deleted for quite a while. And then when I got it back, I think because I didn't have it on for that long, all the bad messages must have been deleted itself by Twitter. So I just had good messages, which was very fortunate. And all I could say is, and all I can do is, I give 110% in training, and I try and give 110% on the pitch. And I think as a fan, I think that's all you want from your players, and your team. So that's what I've tried to do every time I've took the pitch, where I've played fullback, wing, centre. I'm kicking. I know I'm not the best kicker in the world, but I'm the best in the team. So it's a bit unfortunate that I'm no Pat Richards, but that's something I'm really looking forward to working on this year. I'm going to really focus on my kicking and hopefully get a bit better about that. But it's the fans were brilliant. The first year I picked up, I think, nearly every award you can pick up. I think I got the fans players, the players player, the coaches player, the community player of the year, and that to me just made my year really. Just to get, I didn't play for the trophies. I didn't say, right, I'm going to play this year because I want to get players play. I just played to be enjoying rugby league, to be back enjoying playing rugby, to be at a club such as prestigious as Wigan Warriors, and to be given that chance, and the fans really did help, mate. Whether it was on Twitter, whether it was passing by, whether it was going in Aldi or Tesco or Morrison's, whether it was kids asking for the shirt, signing with my name and number on the back already. I did really feel the passion and the love from the fans straight from the off, and that just spurred me on even more to try and do more for the club and to do better. And last year, obviously it was a turbulent year, and I got pushed in the centres, which but truthfully I wasn't really happy with it. But on the hindsight, the team was better off with me in that position, and it worked. Well, it so nearly worked. We got to a grand final and just fell short. We got the league leaders, which is fantastic, and I feel like I've grew as a person at Wigan. Obviously, me and my partner moved over. It's the first time, I'm away from Yorkshire, which is quite a big move for myself. We've had his first child over here, and then obviously, I think I'm just growing as a person, and Wigan's helped me to do that, and I just want to repay them every time. Every time I'm in the training on the training pitch, I give it my all. And every time I'm on the pitch, I try and do so much for the badge. I try and play for the fans that have supported me through the thick and through the thin. Really, even there were loads of people that questioned me, and I still get tweets today about people that say, "Oh, look, Zak, I was your biggest doubter. I was your biggest critic when we signed you, but I'm really glad that we have," and stuff like that, and that just emphasises what I do and what I'm doing is working, and I'm really pleased that that I did come to this club and I've been really well received. So I'm really thankful for all the support from everyone at the club, and especially from the fans as well. So hopefully we can get this COVID sorted out and get the fans back in the stadium and get them all chanting again. So it's been a terrific couple of years, mate.
It's been a brilliant few years for yourself. You really did hit the ground running at the club, although you probably didn't hit the ground as fast as you probably liked. You've been excellent since that moment. And what I've also noticed that you've also had a big smile on your face away from rugby too. On your Instagram, on your socials, you're always happy, you're always smiling. You've recently had a hair transplant very recently.
Yeah.
The viewers may be watching thinking, why has Zak Hardaker got a haircut like Brazilian Ronaldo back in the World Cup all those years ago?
Yeah,
and
it's not quite like that.
And it is the transplant, and also you touched upon in your answer, you've just become a father to your son Abel. Can you describe what that moment was like to become a dad? Because that's something you dream about when you're young. You dream to have your own family, your own house, and you've done that.
Yeah. So it's me and my partner. We've been childhood sweethearts, really. But it's not all been plain sailing. We've been on and off for 11 years now. So we've had his highs, we've had his lows. We've had the misfortune of having a miscarriage before. So it's something that we've wanted for a number of years, but for whatever reason, it's not quite happened. So we've had something didn't go quite right on his first one. We had a miscarriage on the second one, which is really painful. And then, it was something that obviously we both wanted, and we were both trying. And when we found out she was pregnant, obviously I was over the moon. All the boys were really thrilled for me, and it was just something I was really looking forward to. And then, finding out I was having a boy, that gives it, boy or girl. Every dad will say that they're not really bothered, but just I thought genuinely I was having a girl, so I was going to be probably this overprotected dad. I was thinking, right, she's having no boyfriends and all this kind of jazz, and then we went for the gender reveal. It was a boy, and I started crying again. I must be getting a bit emotional as the older I'm getting. So it's so obviously it's something that from 2016 really it's not been quite happening for us, and then to get the chance to have a start a family over here, it's been fantastic, and I think it's been really good that we've been away from us. I know, like, obviously we miss his family and friends and stuff, but just to solely concentrate on me, my partner Alicia, and my son Abel, and now who's just gone over 4 weeks old. We just registered him today, so he's officially a Hardaker, which I'm really, really proud about, because obviously we're still a Riley, which is my girlfriend's second name. So like I've said, like a proud moment again today, and it's weird. So like 2021, I tried to. I've not done any resolutions of where I've wrote them down, and I'm trying to stick to this, and it's just a thought process, and I think this just goes through because of all the ups and downs that I've had in my life, and I've been to I've been to the bottom where I didn't want to be here anymore. I've been to the top where I've won grand finals and stuff like that. And when you start to have a family and you start to get a bit older, and you start to realize what actually matters in life, and there's quite a lot of things that I've cut out already. Whether it being people that don't really offer me much in my life. I know it sounds pretty drastic. This I've not like exactly cut them off, in theory, but if I'm just, I've got me, my partner, and my baby, my mum, my stepdad, my nana, my aunt, and my uncle, my two cousins, and her daughter and her partner, and obviously my girlfriend's family as well, and they're the most important people. And I think it's took me 29 years to realise that. But I've got there, and everything I do now is for Abel and for Alicia. So like I say, when I'm being happy and stuff like that, it's just whenever I've been sad or I've been in a bit of a hole, I'm pretty open. So I'll tell people that I have been, because I reckon there's if I'm struggling, then definitely someone else out there is struggling. And if my video on Instagram, or if a tweet can just change their opinion or change the way they go about their day, then I don't need someone to tell me that I've helped them. Just as long as it's helped them, then I'm more than happy to do that. And I think being a professional sportsman, or a high level sportsman, with followers, whether you're a rugby player, footballer, cricketer, boxer, you've got a platform where you can help people. And I probably use that. I've probably not used that platform correctly, especially growing up. I probably took it for granted. Going out doing stuff I shouldn't be doing. And then the bad press, and everyone perceives me as this certain person, and I'm really not that kind of person at all. I'm, like I say, when people see me as bubbly and think that's pretty much me. But like I say, I'm just an everyday normal human being that has his up days, has his down days. And like I say, with this year 2021, I'm really trying to think positively about most things. Try and be a better person each day. Like I say, everything I'm doing now is not for me. It's for my little boy and for my girlfriend, and for our future, and hopefully we have some more kids as well. So hopefully all that comes to tuition. But it's I'm not no, I can't be the I always have a little laugh and joke. It's I can't be all Zak anymore. It's Abel and Alicia first, and sadly it's me who comes last. So but that's the thing that I'm starting to enjoy, mate. They're the things that you get when you start to grow up, and they're the things that I'm really starting to enjoy now. Just like today, just registering Abel as Abel Hardaker. It's really made my day. I'm really, really, really proud that I've been able to do that, and just little things along the way. Even in, like, I've had him on a morning when he's been struggling sleeping, so Alicia's been up all night, and then I've been trying to look after him on early hours in the morning, just having him on my chest, making noises while he's asleep. It just means quite a lot. And if you said that to me 12 months ago, I'd have probably just laughed at you and thought, what you're on about? You're a bit weird, you. But it's just massively changed my life, mate, and it's all for the good. And I couldn't be prouder and be happier at where I'm at life at this moment in time.
It's a very special moment, and God forbid if you have a daughter in the future, being that boyfriend, knock on the door of your in-laws, and it's Zak Hardaker. And I'm quite curious. You've mentioned your tougher times, and we will touch upon it in more depth.
Yeah.
In terms of your reputation in this interview, the people who've listened to it so far, you'll come across as really bubbly, kind, genuine, a real family guy. But you had this reputation, I think it'd be fair to say, of a bit of a bad boy. What do you make of that?
Yeah, it's Yeah, obviously I've painted the picture for them, so I've got no qualms about what people the perception of me. It's whether it's good or bad, then fair enough. It's your opinion, and I've pretty much painted a picture of myself for the first probably since I was probably 17, 18 till I don't know, probably about 2 years ago. I painted a picture of a bad boy, and I don't know what you class as a bad boy. I like to going out. I still like going out. Don't get me wrong. I like going out. I like to have a drink with my friends. I wouldn't shy away from a punch up. I'd be in the thick of it. If a fight occurred, whether it was with myself or with my friends, I'd find myself in the wrong places at the wrong times. So yeah, that bad boy image is probably coming from that. I'm not sat here being proud about it. I've been kicked out of two World Cup squads, one for drinking, when I shouldn't have been drinking, and another one for fighting, when I shouldn't have gone out. So it's I've not helped myself in any way, shape, or form in portraying that image. And it's just I think that's it hurt my mum really, because obviously my mum knows me and knows what I'm like, and like I say, I am a bubbly person. I'm a fun guy to be with. I like to have a laugh. I like to do good things. I like to go karting or go bowling. I'm really adventurous. I love doing stuff with people, and over those probably youthful years, I've just chose the wrong thing, which is mainly going out, going drinking, doing the wrong things off the back of going out and drinking. And look, I'm not saying I'm no angel now. I've still got that in me. If you like, it's probably like devil advocate. You've got the good one on the left shoulder, the bad one on the right, and it's the bad one that's saying, yeah, stay out with your friends, and then it's the other one saying, no, go home, you'll get in trouble. So I've always got one of those good Zak and a bad Zak on each shoulder. But as I've got older, like I say, I've started to channel stuff differently, especially with Alicia and having a baby now. It's if I find it so much easier to do the right thing, whereas before it was just all about myself. And I was living at home with my mum, didn't pay rent. I had the best cars. I lived rent free in my mum's house. I probably looked like I was I don't know, someone like Kanye West or something. I was killing it. Going out, spending loads of money, paying for my friends' drinks and paying for my mates' nights outs, and being a bit too flash. And I wish I could rewind the clock. And everyone said this to me when I was 25 and 24, and I've been in bother. I was like, oh, you'll get to 35, 40, and you'll look back and you'll wish you never did this and that. And I'm like, oh yeah, the old cliche. But I'm one of those where I would say, everything happens for a reason. I don't believe in God or anything like that. I'm not Christian or anything. So, but I'm a firm believer that everything does happen for a reason. So whether it's been the wrong place at the wrong time, whether it's just my bad decision making, there's a lot of factors been put into place where I put myself in that position, and rightly so. I've faced the consequences, and that's where probably the bad boy image comes from. And the latest one, the cocaine thing, was a big thing, and that really set me back a bit. That it took me a good 12 months to get over that, really. There was factors in it of what I did, and people still don't know the full story of what happened and why I did it, and all this kind of jazz. Everyone's still got their own opinions and their own little theories about it, really. But So yeah, I've not painted probably the best picture of myself in the first 6 or 7 years of being an adult, but the last couple of years, I'd like to think that I've shown a more mature Zak Hardaker and what I can actually be like. And like I say, I'm hoping the bad times are behind me, but I'm that person where there's something that could go wrong, and it's just about me always being on the ball and always having to concentrate on what I'm doing and think ahead. Really, that's the main thing. It's not just about, right, I'll go out around Manchester, blah blah blah. It's about, right, where am I going? Who am I going out with? What time will I be home? What company am I with? And stuff like that. So there's a lot more thought process that goes into things, whereas before I just used to just jump in head first, and that's where the mistakes were made, I think.
For those who don't know your story, would you be willing to talk about
Of course.
the difficult period before in your life before the 2017 grand final and the other controversies you was involved in?
Yeah, of course. So where do you want to start?
I think if we start with the 2017 grand final around
Yeah.
that time with the
Yeah.
drug ban, I think that's what a lot of people sadly do think about when they think of Zak
Yeah.
Hardaker. They don't think about what you've achieved in the game. They don't think of the Man of Steel win. They sadly think of the drug ban.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so it was, like I say, probably one of the best years of my life, in my career. Training was absolutely brilliant. Being from Pontefract, to the town next to Castleford. I was kind of a local lad. Most of the boys, apart from the boys from overseas, were from Yorkshire. So every day training was really good. We'd go out for Nando's after. We'd always go for a drink together on a weekend, and then we'd play on a Friday. Seemed to beat everyone by 30-40 points, and it rolled on to the week after, and it was fantastic. And and this is the God's honest truth. It was 4 weeks before the grand final. This is why it gets a bit everyone mispercepts about what happened. And so it was actually, we played Leeds Rhinos about 4 weeks before the grand final, 4 weeks before the end of the season. Really, we had to get to the grand final first. We had to beat Saints in semis. So it was a Tuesday, just finished training, and it was a time hop thing. So me and my partner, as I mentioned earlier, we'd lost a baby the year before, and it was that week that we'd lost it. And my mum and dad were away on holiday, so me and Mrs were just living in my mum's house at the time. And it popped up on my phone, like a baby scan, something like that. And it threw me a little bit. So I ran my mate. I said, "Oh, do you want to go for a pint? Just try and forget about it." And you're like, yeah, we'll go for a drink. And we were playing Leeds that Friday, and really, theoretically, you shouldn't go for a beer on a Tuesday if you're playing on a Friday. Technically, you're actually allowed, but to be seen to have a drink as a professional when you've got a game in a few days is not great. So I said to him, right, let's go a bit out further afield, so no one can spot me. Basically, I just want to have a few beers and forget what I've seen, to be fair. So I had a few beers. Few beers led to a few more beers. Ended up going to Selby. I got home about 12:30. Ended up having some cocaine that night until the early hours of the morning. And then Wednesday we had the day off. So Wednesday I spent majority of the day in bed, really rough, as you can imagine. And then we had the captain's run on the Thursday. So trained all right Thursday, trained as normal. Didn't tell anyone what I'd done. Didn't tell my girlfriend or anyone. They just thought I'd just had a drink. And I was rough the day before. So Thursday went really well. Turned up on a Friday. Castleford Leeds, big derby. Obviously, being at Leeds before, it's a big game for myself. I always like to play against teams I've played for. It's a big game for me personally. If I played at Leeds and I played at Cass, so it was something where I wasn't really thinking straight, mate. If I'm going to be honest, it was like I say, a bit of a bad week mentally. I wasn't all there. I just thought when stuff in the past not been going really well for me. I've always turned to rugby, so it's either training really hard or playing. So I was like, right, I'll play, and whenever I play a match, I'm always thinking of the match. I'm thinking of the plays. I'm thinking of anything else other than life. So I went ahead and played. Didn't really think too much of what I had done on the Tuesday night, Wednesday morning. And then as I was coming off the pitch, I got called for a drug test. So as soon as I got pulled to the side, I was like, shit. It all kept coming back to me because obviously I knew that cocaine could still be in my system, and if that's counted as an in competition, which leads to a 2 or a 4 year ban. So I did the test. My girlfriend was at home. I come home out. I was all sheepish, really quiet. She said, "What's up?" So I explained to her. She started crying. She said, "What? Why have you done that?" I said, "I don't know why." I said, I started to explain to her, but obviously you can't excuse the fact that I've done that because of that. But that's what I did. In the past, if in the past if I've had something that's not quite right, or I'm feeling sad, depressed, down, I've probably gone to my friends, right, lads, let's go out, let's have a beer, and then that's quite a lot where my problems have led. So, like I'll just flick back a little bit as well. Like when I was on the World Cup squad, Steve McNamara told me on the Monday I was playing against Australia on the Saturday at Huddersfield. So on the Tuesday morning, I bought about 35 tickets for family and friends against Australia. My first time against Australia, I was buzzing. So that Tuesday morning, by Tuesday evening, he told me that we were going to stick with the team that he played before. So I was obviously I was pissed off, angry, upset. And then he let us go on Wednesday, and he said, right, report back everyone on Thursday afternoon. So me being pissed off, and this is why I'm trying to get to the point of thing, is instead of saying to someone, right, I'm pissed off, blah 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 blah, sit down and talking to someone about it. I've not told really much anybody about it. Everyone knows I'm a bit pissed off. I've gone to my mates, right, I've sorted us out a nightclub, VIP in Leeds. Alt Geordie Shaw, a lot are going to be there. Let's go out. Let's get blathered. Really, that's my coping mechanism. So I ended up going out drinking when it was a non-drinking camp, and then ended up in middle of a 30-man brawl. I didn't start it. I was just in the middle of it, but ended up with a massive black eye. So I turned up the next day and got kicked out of the World Cup squad. So what I'm trying to say is, so I'll fast forward back to the drugs thing. Something's not gone well in my life, and instead of talking about it, or probably talking is the main aspect. I've took it upon myself to go and self-medicate. I'll use that word, try and self-medicate, and gone out, done something that I shouldn't have done. Got tested. Anyway, so the week after we played, I heard nothing back from UCAD. No letter in the mail. 2 weeks have gone by. No letter from UCAD. No email. So I'm thinking, right, by skinning my teeth here, I might have got away with it. I don't know how, but I'm thinking I'm not doing this again, because I weren't eating, I weren't sleeping correctly. The anxiety was awful. My mum came home from holiday the week after. She noticed something was wrong, but I was saying I was fine, but she could clearly see someone was wrong. The third week we played Saints in the semis. Still nothing had come through the post, so I'm like, 3 weeks. I surely should have heard something if it was a positive test. So we got through to the grand final. First time that Cass got through to a grand final. Absolutely buzzing. I was up for the Man of Steel nomination on the Tuesday. Came second, sadly, and then trained on the Wednesday, and then the Thursday we had a day off, and then that's when I got the phone call about I've been suspended for they found a banned substance in my system. So they banned me on Thursday, and the grand final was meant to be on the Saturday. So yeah, my life came crashing down at 100 miles an hour. So it was from me doing it was 4 weeks later. Everyone, well, half of the people still think I did it the day before a grand final, which is very stupid. But obviously, I wouldn't do that. But it was 4 weeks before. It just took a bit longer for the results to come. I think it was in a freezer for 10 days, and anyway, the process went on longer than it should have done anyway. So that's why I thought I kind of got away with it by the skin of my teeth, but in the end of the day, I didn't. So yeah, that was really hard for me, hard for my family. You know, I think it was so Thursday. So Thursday night, I packed a bag. Me and my girlfriend went to the Lake District. I booked somewhere for like 5 days. Turned my phone off. Obviously, knowing the grand finals on Saturday, I turned it on Saturday night, seeing that Castleford had lost the grand final. So I was just like to my sis, "Oh, this is just going to add fuel to the fire already. You know, it's definitely going to be my fault that they've lost." And I think I was there 5 days, and for about three or 4 days, I think I drank a full bottle of whiskey every night, just to make myself feel a bit better, which didn't help in the morning when you wake up with a banging headache. So I won't suggest that to anyone. But yeah, and then it got to about Tuesday where I had to come home and face reality, really. And I did that, and yeah, it was a really tough period, mate. It was more tough for not just for myself, but for my family, for my mum specifically. You know, I hope she don't mind me saying it, but you know, she was depressed for about 4 or 5 months. She was on antidepressants. She wouldn't go to the local supermarket. She'd go half an hour away so no one would recognise her. Funny enough, I did the exact same thing for about 2 months. Wherever I went, I'd go somewhere where no one would recognise me, but there'd always be someone who I'd see pointing at me or shouting at me or something like that. So it was a really difficult period, mate. And at the time, we were just buying a house. Me and my missus buying his first house. A lovely big house. You know, it was going to be his family home. That got pushed back. You know, I put my deposit down. And then I asked for my deposit back. The company won't let me have my deposit back. They said, but you can put it into another property. Obviously, because I couldn't afford that house anymore, because Castleford sacked me. So I got a job with one of the Castleford Tigers sponsors, who was absolutely instrumental in me being all right. To be fair, they gave me a job. Dave and Marie, they're called. It was 5-star commercial cleaning company. They're called. I think I forgot what they call now. It might be Castle Commercial. It's still one of the main sponsors back of the shirt. Bit of a lifesaver, really. So they helped me. Me and my girlfriend ended up getting a mortgage on a house. So that kind of saved that. You know, I had a brand new Audi Q5. I had to get rid of that. That was on finance, so I had to get rid of that because you know the mortgage lender wouldn't give me money on the car, with my wage. I went from being on a good amount of wage to 19 grand a year. So I had to get a Ford Fiesta, which I don't mind, but I was paying nearly £400 a month for this Ford Fiesta just so I can get my mortgage approved. And then through all of that, I was paying my mortgage, paying the car, paying my phone bill. I was left with about £200-300 for the rest of the month. So it was like from going from the first Castleford's first team to be in the grand final from that to I don't know, contemplating life. What do I play rugby anymore? Do I there were quite a lot of times where I thought, shall I even be here anymore? I keep hurting my mum, I keep hurting my family. So I went through all the tough times, mate, and then after a couple of months, I kind of looked at myself and thought, you know what, I'm just going to crack on with it. I'm gonna work. So I worked, earned my money, paid my bills, and got on with it. And then obviously through the tribunal, it's a 2-year ban normally, but I went through the circumstances that I was under, so it was a bit like court really. So I went through the factors of the Tuesday night that I've just explained, of why I did what I did and all this, and it went on for quite a number of hours, and the judge gave me a 14-month ban instead of 2 years, which I'm really thankful for. So it just meant that I missed just one year. So I kind of tried to look at it as mentally for myself as if I've just done an ACL injury. Just trying to keep my sanity in check. So when that happened, there were a bit of hope there that I'm only missing a year. There's plenty of players that get injured at the start of the year and miss a full season and stuff like that. So that gave me a little bit of hope. And then after that came out, halfway through, sorry, keep burping, like I say, about halfway 2018, I got a number of clubs on the phone to my agent who were interested in signing me. So that was like, God, I'm I'm a cat with 9 lives. I've got an extra life here. And then towards the back end of that year, Wigan came in, and like I say, I spoke to Chris Rodlinski, I spoke to Ian Lenigan, and yeah, as soon as I knew they were interested in me, I snapped it up straight away. But yeah, that was the darkest days that I've had. It was a really tough period in my life, and like I say, with the bad boy image of me, the fights and the things when I was at Leeds to a massive bombshell of getting banned for taking cocaine it's not great, and it's something I'm not particularly proud of, but it's something that like I look back now and think, look, it's happened. I'm over it. There's still fans that give me jip about it, and I've cost them a grand final, and it's good to know that I cost them it because I must have been that good. But I keep thinking, there were 13 other players on the pitch. So, but yeah, it's just it hurts me a little bit as well because I love the club. The fans are great. The players are, like I say, the players were really great. I still talk to most of the boys now, and I was really sad that I couldn't be out there and try and get them that first grand final win that I've actually experienced before, and I think that hurts. That still hurts me today a little bit. The club, yes. The fans, yes, but more for my friends that went to that were their first grand final, that they might not get to another grand final again, and I wasn't able to offer my services and try and help them achieve something. So those were the dark days, mate. That were really, really, really dark. But like I say, halfway through the year, I kind of just switched a little thing in my head and thought I can go two ways here, and I started puffing my chest out a little bit and moved on, mate.
When you was going through that really tough patch and you was banned for 14 months from all sports by UCAD, what was your mental health like during your suspension? Obviously, as well, it must have not been nice to receive so much abuse on social media, being accused of a drug cheat when you'd just been going through really tough times with a miscarriage a year before.
Yeah, it's difficult because obviously you have all kinds of people on social media. You have your lovely keyboard warriors. You have the people that are sympathetic. You have the people that don't really give a monkeys about your thoughts and stuff like that. And at first, I was angry with myself, so I wasn't really bothered about anybody else. But then once it kind of settled in that I was banned for cocaine, I was really embarrassed. I was really depressed. Anxiety every time I left the house. I was really anxious about people looking at me in the supermarket. Are they saying it's him who did drugs? Is it him? I still get that today. To be fair, it's still. I don't think about it as much. I don't let it bothers me as much. But there's still that factor of that they know that I've actually done something that's really wrong. Do you know what I mean? But the circumstances that I did it under, I didn't just go. Oh, I'll have a party tonight on Tuesday night, and it weren't that factor. And like I say, people still think I did it the week on the grand final, which really does anger me because obviously I know I've been stupid in the past, but I'm not that stupid. And people just don't either want to believe what you're saying, or they just don't really care. And at first, that bothered me. I wanted to try and win people over and explain and all this. And now, mate, I'm like I say, I'm 29. I'm really not fussed. Like, that's what's happened. This is my story. It's not changed since the day I said it. And if you don't like it, you don't like it. If you can't accept it, thank you. If you don't like me, you don't like me. If you like me, you like me. So it's yeah. The 2017 season was great. The 2018 season, 2018 year, sorry, was difficult at the start. And like I say, I kind of flipped a switch where I just thought, you know what, I get on with it. It's normal life. I'll work like all my mates do, normal jobs. So I worked. I got home. I ate. I went to the gym with all my mates. I tried to have a good as laugh as possible, socially. So, we'd go to the pub on a Friday, play poker. On a Tuesday night, it'd be Man United versus someone. So, the average Joe can go to the pub on a Tuesday and not get judged. So, I tried to, and I went on holiday with my friends. I went on holiday with my family, my stepdad and my mum and Alicia. We ended up going to Egypt for 2 weeks, which you never do during a season because obviously you're playing. So I did a few things where you're not actually capable of doing them while you play rugby. So I tried to make a bad situation into not a good situation. But look, I could have just sat at home, been depressed for 12 months, 14 months, worked and not left the house. But what's the point in that? Like, I'm not achieving anything. I'm not getting anything out of that. My girlfriend's not going to be happy. My family's not going to be happy. So, like I say, the switch just turned. I went on holiday with my friends. I had a great time. I went on holiday with my family. I had a great time. And there's periods in that year where it was brilliant. I'll admit that. But it probably took me about 4 or 5 months to really flip that switch. So, so yeah, the first few months were really difficult, but after I flipped the switch, I started to enjoy life, and I think that made me realise what I'd actually got, and from earning good money to earning not so good money, and budgeting where I've never budgeted before, and I know this sounds a bit far fetched, or I'm not being beard or anything, but from driving BMWs to Audis to to driving a Ford Fiesta, it makes you realise what I had, and that's what I've tried to not take for granted ever since that day. So, like we bought the house, me and my partner. When I got back up and running, I got myself a nice car, but I'm not taking for granted. I'm putting things in. I'm putting plenty of money into my savings account. I'm thinking about the future, whereas I was just thinking about tomorrow and the here and now. So as much as 2017 was, well, the end of 2017 was pretty brutal and not very good. It's taught me massive life lessons that'll last for me till the day I die. So I'm quite grateful that something happened like that to me early doors, because I think that's it's equipped me with certain things that not many people get equipped with. And I've got friends and I've had people get in contact with me about mental health and how did you deal with this, how do you deal with that, etc. And because I've been through it, I've just literally, like, I'm no doctor, I'm no special person. I'm just a lad that's been brought up from nothing to achieve things in a game, who's earned good money to have done something bad, to come through the other side. And that's why I shared my advice, mate, and that's why when it was locked down, I posted a 10-minute thing about I was really depressed, and exercise, this works for me, blah blah blah. And then the hair transplant, I asked, I know it's a topic men don't talk about getting the hair done, or shall I not get it done. And like I say, like, because I've been through these kind of difficult scenarios, me getting an hair transplant and talking about it is nothing, because I've had to go through a supermarket, my local supermarket, where everyone knows what I've done right or what I've done wrong. So so that to me is pretty much, is quite easy, and it comes quite natural. So like I say, anything that I can help with people now is I don't do it for publicity, I don't do it for press, I don't do it for anything. I just do it for either my peace of mind to help me, or to help others, which is great. And especially when I get feedback about whether it's their mental health wasn't great at the time, or I was thinking about getting a hair transplant, but now you really you've really made me want to get one. Whether it's that I get a message back, it's great, and it does make you feel good. But like I say, I don't purposely go out there searching for it. I just tell it how it is, mate.
It's a great way to look at things, especially how you put up a switch in your mind to kind of block out negativity. And I think the transplant is really important. So I used to get a lot of stick. People used to say, when I used to walk in a room, a hairline walking 5 minutes behind me, comments like that, it kind of just adds fuel to the fire. And it's great that you openly spoke about that. And like you said, with what you've been through, a hair transplant is absolutely nothing compared to everything else. And just 2 months before you was about to start your comeback and start your time at Wigan Warriors, you were sadly caught drink driving. How do you reflect back on this incident? And at that moment in time, did you feel like you blew your opportunity for redemption?
Yeah, sorry, mate. I just put my phone on charge because it ran out a little bit. So it seems like it's like a Zak Hardaker curse, really. It's a bit. So I've got up and running, signed at Wigan, did a few weeks training, and then this is how sad of a story it goes. It's drove to the pub, thought I'd have 2 pints. I was going golfing with my mate in the morning, so I took my golf clubs. That they were in the boot already. He sports Man United. I sport obviously Leeds United, so I don't like Man United. There was playing Derby in the cup, and it went to extra time. So I had 3 or 4 pints. It led to 5 pints. Then it got to I think it went to penalties. So I got 6, 7 pints, and I'm not thinking about me driving on my golf clubs at this moment in time. I'm thinking about Man United are going to lose, and I'm going to say ha ha to you, who's one of my best friends. Anyway, it comes to 12 o'clock, and I come outside the pub, and I realise my car's there, and I'm like, shit, my golf clubs went back. I can't really leave, and it's on a main road, the pub. So I was like, I can't really leave my car here. And look, whether people listening have done it or they haven't done it, it's a thing to do. But I literally just I went, I live 30 seconds down the road, which I generally do. So I jumped in a car, drove 30 seconds down the road, and it just so happens a police car followed me. So I thought, I wonder if it's following me. So I turned left, it followed me. I turned right, it followed me. And as soon as I did like a left right, it put its sirens on. I got done for drink driving. So I got arrested. And then I was sat in the cells. That was another low point, mate. I don't. Was it on comparison to the 7? I don't think it was quite as level as 2017, but it weren't far off. You know, I was sat in the cells, freezing cold, 4 concrete walls, a little mattress on a concrete bed, an aluminium toilet. Never been in a cell before, so you know it was all a bit new to me. Went to sleep, woke up quite early, and then it started to dawn on me about, you know, Wigan Warriors. I've just signed, just been done for drugs. We're going to took a punt on me, and then I've just been done for drink driving. I'm like, oh my god, I'm definitely out of Rugby League here. So yeah, I don't know what emotions, what I was thinking. It was a bit of a whirlwind. In the cell, I was in there for 14 hours. So yeah, that happened. I thought maybe with a bit of luck, it might just no one will find out, because obviously it was quite late at night. Only me and my friend was in the car. But me being from Pontefract, getting arrested in Pontefract, by the time I got out, which was about 4 o'clock the next afternoon, it was all over Twitter, all over Facebook, all over. Everyone was texting me. And then, you know, someone from Gruzelinsky rang me from Wigan and asked for a meeting the day after. So drove up to Wigan, and I spoke to him, Ian Lenigan, Chris Brooks, who's, you know, on the director's box, and they were just basically saying like, what are you doing? What's the crack? What's going on? I explained to him exactly what I've just explained to you. I don't think they could quite believe what I'd done. Obviously, I couldn't either, but it was just one of those things where I didn't think. So they were unsure what to do. So I'm going home at this point, and then, you know, I started talking to him about what happens if Wigan don't. I just said straight down the line. I said, if Wigan sack me, I said, I'm not even going to play rugby anymore. I'll do something else. Not sure what I'll do, but I was going to knock it on the head. I've had enough. So I was waiting for a reply from Wigan. So I got a reply about a week later. Went and had a meeting, and they said, look, we've gone through everything, blah blah blah. The majority of things that goes wrong in your life, Zak, revolves or relates to alcohol. Have you got an alcohol problem? I said no. I don't drink every day. I drink once a week, maybe twice a week. You know, if we got the day off and I went to watch the football, apart from that, just like everyone else. So, you know, the conversation went through about that, and you know, basically at the end of it, they were like, right, if you go to rehab, you know, we'll keep you on, kind of thing. So I said, yeah, okay, definitely, anything to keep me on at Wigan. So I went to rehab. Really didn't want to go. I was found it a bit weird that I had to go. If I'm going to be honest, I was scared, anxious. Didn't know quite to expect, because you hear of people going to rehab and it's like they've got problems, and I'm like, I haven't really got a problem. You know, I've either been at the wrong place at the wrong time, or someone's called me a name in a nightclub and I've ended up fighting. You know, I don't see that as a massive issue. Anyway, I went to the rehab. I was there for 4 weeks. And you know, there were 4 or 5 other people at the rehab centre for various different things, all professional athletes. So there were a couple of footballers there, and you know, we did all kinds of things. We did horse therapy, golf therapy, scuba diving therapy. It sounds like quite a good holiday camp when I explain it, but it was all related to the mind and where you're at in life and stuff, and then in between all that, you had some really tough conversations with each other in a circle, and the 2 blokes that ran the rehab, the rehab centre, the Sporting Chance centre. So, you know, you have to go through a booklet and write things down about who you've hurt, why you've hurt, what you've done in your past, what you've done right, what you've done wrong, and kept a journal, kept a diary on a night. And to be fair, mate, I still don't believe I've got a thing wrong with alcohol. I drink today. Well, I don't mean I've had a drink today. I mean, I still drink up to today. I've had no issues since. But it's the whole philosophy about life and how you look at life, and what's important and who's important, and your actions hurting the others, not just yourself. And you know, I could do another 3-hour podcast just about the rehab centre, mate. But I was really scared, nervous, thought it was a load of rubbish before I went, and when I come out, I kind of enjoyed it. It was quite good. It was quite good to open up, to you know, to shut some demons out, and you kept a booklet, and it was a bit like homework, really. So it'd ask you a question, and you'd write down 2 or 3 pages worth, and this went on for 4 weeks. And then after a couple of days before you left, you went through it all, and you read it back in a group. So there were 6 men, and you start from the beginning and you go to the end. And believe it or not, you know, 6 men standing up individually for half an hour, 45 minutes at a time, crying for about half an hour at a time. It's quite emotional. It's quite powerful. So you do that, and then right at the end they go, right, here's a shredder, guys. Put it all in the shredder. So it's a bit like, So you've just done this 4-week journey, 4-week journal, wrote all the things that's in your mind, all the things that you're sorry for, all the things that you're grateful for, etc. And then you put it in a shredder, and I was like, why the fucking hell have I put it in a shredder? I've just wrote all these things down. And they were like, because from today you start again. So we've gone through all these, we've ticked them off. We've, you know, the thought process of how you felt that day, that month, that week, why you did this, why you did that, we've completed it. You know, well, we've ticked it off. And I was like, wow. And that was quite powerful for me, that the 4-week process that we did, and you don't realise you're going on this journey. You're just following their pattern, you're following their instructions, and then you put it in a shredder, and it's like, yeah, it's like a new lease of life. It's like, right, I start again from this point. So, and I think that's what I've done, mate. From that point, I put it in the shredder. So from everything, like you say, the bad boy image that people perceive me to have, from being a stupid, naive young lad, fighting, getting done for drugs, blah 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 blah, hurting all my family, hurting my parents, hurting my girlfriend, losing money, losing nice cars, put all this, put it in a shredder, and then I've just gone like, right, okay, sweet. I feel pretty good. It felt like I just took about 3 cars off my back, and that's how genuinely it made you feel. So I was really grateful that I actually got the privilege to go. Was it for the drinking? That's why I went, yes. But did I take that away from there? Not necessarily, but I took quite a lot about the approach of life and how to think about life and what's important, what's not important. And right at the start of the podcast, mate, that's when you said about people see you as a bubbly person, and I'm open about speaking about things, and I try and enjoy life. That's all from probably going there, because I'd still have all that cloudiness around me now if I probably hadn't been there. So I'm really, really thankful for Wigan to push me to do that. Really proud of myself for going. It's not easy to just to go. My family were really proud of me for me going, and I've learned quite a lot from that, mate. And like I say, I put that into my everyday life. I take every day as it comes. I try not to worry about things that are out of my control. If I can control the outcome of something, then it's totally on me. If I've trained all week at Wigan and I get injured the day before the game and Wigan lose on the Friday night, I'm not going to get fed up about it. I'm not going to be upset about it because it's out of my control. I'm not in control of that. So, and I still got my mates today who ring me and say, "Oh, look, I'm having a bad day at work." Blah blah blah. I'm like, well, what could you have done differently? It's like, pretty much, I don't think I could have done anything differently. I'm like, so why are you stressing? Like, you've done the best you could have done. What's the point of going home, stressing all night, having no sleep, not probably eating, and then worrying about something that you can't even change? So there's a lot of things, mate, that I've learned in there and on the way and through the bad times and the good times, and I really feel like I've got a really good balance of the yin and the yang. Since I've been at Wigan, I've spoke to I think I spoke to about a class about 150 people, 200 people, at kids, of a little bit about my life, about the ups and the downs, and where I've come from, and what's been good, what's been bad. And I've been to a nursery school, and talk to kids, and I really find that enjoyable. I really enjoy it. The kids seem to really relate to it. Not certain about drugs and stuff, but the getting in trouble at school and not paying attention and stuff like that. So, like I say, like I said earlier, I'm a really firm believer in things do happen for certain reasons, and the cocaine one, missing a year of rugby league was a massive one. But I'm sure, I wouldn't be sat here talking to you today as confident as I am, with a little boy, my girlfriend, really settled, the happiest I've ever been. I've got a lovely car outside. I've got a lovely house, lovely partner, lovely son, lovely family, great club, great teammates. And so like I say, I think everything does happen for reasons. That's my firm belief. And like I say, I'm just really happy at the moment where I'm at. So.
Wow, that's all I can really say. You should be very proud of the journey you've been on, to be at rock bottom, to drag yourself back up and be where you are now. When you were sat in a police cell, when you was in rehabilitation, I bet you would never envisioned that just a couple of months ago that you were playing in the 2020 grand final, sorry. It feels like 2020 lasted for 5 years.
Yeah, I know,
and I'd just like to just congratulate you on that, because I know a lot of people listen to this and change their opinion of you. I know before I read up about you, I actually did I've told you before, I've done my university dissertation on yourself. So I know before I knew about the ins and outs of what happened, I had that almost a bad image in my head, because it's natural to just read everything you believe.
Of course. Yeah,
And
it is. Yeah,
you've definitely changed my opinion of yourself over the last couple of hours, and through doing that uni work. And like I said, you should be very proud of that. And to now link back onto more modern times. Recently, you played in the 2020 Super League Grand Final against St Helens. Now you've had time to process that and look back. Would you now say it's one of the greatest matches of all time for Rugby League?
Yeah, it's a tough one. All I can say is both teams give absolutely everything out there. There was nothing left in anyone's tank. I think Oliver Gildart, 30 minutes in, broke his thumb. 20 minutes in, George Burgess fractured his jaw. So we had a left wing and left centre who were both broken. The game itself was unbelievably tough. You know, the first 40 minutes we defended his line. Well, it felt like they had every set of the ball on our line, and they couldn't break us down. And that's something that I was really confident in going into the game. I just couldn't see how they could score, and that confidence came building from about 4 weeks before the grand final. And the boys were really confident on the bus, you know, like some of the lads were talking, it's like, we don't know how they're going to score. Like, each edge takes pride in their own kind of edge. So my right edge, you know, we had Jake Bibby, myself, Tom Lulawai, Willie Isa. I'm like, they're not going to score down this edge. Like, they're not. It's not happening. So I'm really confident. The left edge, they were really confident. The middles, they were really confident. So I'm like, obviously St Helens are going to think the same. But just on paper, I thought we had the better team. And you know, you can go back and change all the little things. You know, if my first kick when we scored a try didn't hit the crossbar and went over, I think that's the first kick I've ever kicked short, which I'm pretty gutted about. You know, I kicked it; it was going straight through the middle of the posts. I turned around, picked the cone up, and then someone went, "Oh!" I'm thinking, "What you growing in that?" I turned around and it still said 4 points on the scoreboard. And then as I'm running back, I could see on the screen it hit the crossbar. So I'm thinking, either I've not connected with it really well, or there's a real strong gust of wind that's blew the ball back. So you know, I was pretty disappointed in that. Obviously, they got 2 penalties, so it's 4 apiece. And then I got a chance to about 2 minutes ago to probably more or less kick it to win it. I felt confident, and it's just one of those where I just hit it slightly to the right. And just before the game in the warm up, I'd done about six kicks, 3 either side at the exact same position, and I smashed them over. Like, I put the ball down, didn't think, boom, flying over straight through the H's. So when it got there, I was pretty confident. And like I say, it's a game of inches, and it was then. So unfortunately, I missed it. But I was still confident that we'd go and win, because obviously I was thinking we'd bombed about 4 or 5 chances that game as well. I think Jake maybe had a couple of chances of going in. I was held up on the line the first half. And like I say, they had no luck in scoring. And then obviously the last 2 seconds of madness, of a drop goal, and then of them scoring, it was a bit of a mental ending, really, mate. And it probably summed the game up. You know, everyone gave 110%. There was nothing left out on the field. There was pure disappointment from us. Don't get me wrong, but like I say, everyone gave their all. Like I say, there were 2 guys there who broken bones in the first 20 minutes. we played on the full game. It will lock us as last game. And after, I've never been in a changing room like it after. We all sat down, and obviously there's beers right in the middle of the thing. Because obviously you don't know if you're going to win or lose, so there's loads of buckets of beers, and I sat down. I didn't grab one at all. You know, a bit moved with myself, thinking I could have got the kick. Jacko was fuming because he was like, if I didn't give the penalty against Theo Fars, the one that got the two. Bevan French were crying because he was like, if I can't. And it's one of those things where, well, if he'd have passed the ball at that right time, he'd have scored. So you could go through all the 80 minutes and chose different parts of when we could have won or lost the game. But we sat down for about 10 minutes. Everyone was quiet. And then Chris Zielinski spoke, and he just spoke about how proud he is of the players, how proud he was of all the coaches, of what a tough year it's been. You know, we've got the league leaders. We got to a grand final. We felt, I still feel like we deserve to have won, because obviously we actually scored a try, and they scored a bit of a fluke of a try. I'll probably, the Saints fans won't like me for saying it, but it was a bit of a fluky try. But don't get me wrong, he backed the kick up and finished it. So yeah, it's one of those, and we spoke about it after for about 20 minutes about the season, about the effort, about the passion, about the badge, about being a Wigan Warrior, and we felt justified that we'd give us best. And within 20 minutes, everyone grabbed a beer. We all went round, we cuddled each other, and then we all started laughing and joking and just saying how good it was just to have this year, you know, with the COVID, with all the stuff that's gone on and all the shit in the world, to have this privilege of reaching a grand final, to being so close with a group of mates who you've worked really hard with throughout the year, to celebrate, you know, Sean Loughlin's last game, Joe Burge's last game there, Ben Flower, fortunately, were injured for it, you know, his last game, to be part of the team. It was a special moment, and even though we'd lost, it was really, really good, and I think that moment will stick with me forever. Like I say, we just sat round, and we had smiling faces. We weren't unhappy. We weren't crying. We were disappointed. Don't get me wrong, but it wasn't like a grand final or a final that I've lost before, where you're actually heartbroken and you don't talk for hours. It was 20 minutes of silence, and then it was just all positive talk, and it was like, right, let's get ready for next year. And I'm really looking forward to this year. I think we've got a really good squad, probably one of the strongest squads on paper. Really looking forward to it. And yeah, after that, you know, people on Twitter, people on social media, all the Wigan fans were saying how proud they are of us, and you're doing something right if the Wigan fans are saying, well done, we're really proud, because Wigan fans are, you know, quite astute to tell you that you've had a poor game, or what the hell was that, or, you know, why have you done this, why have you not done that. But, you know, pretty much the majority of the fans were really proud of his efforts, and to get that feedback straight away from them, that sums it up a little bit as well for us. So, you know, we had a fun bus on the way home, and just enjoyed each other's company. So, and then after that, mate, I've not thought about it. Like I say, I'm one of those where I don't try and look back on certain things, and I'll look back at the memory of the changing rooms and how we was together for about 2 or 3 hours, just alone, the boys, in his shirts and his shorts, just talking about memories and the games and the games throughout the year, and what someone did to someone, or blah blah blah. And it was it was a special moment, mate, really special. And even though it was a loss, it felt like a really good, like, bonding session for the team and for the club. and especially for the young guys who's coming up, who's probably got, who could play there for another 10, 15 years. It's a great lesson for those guys as well. And I think they really enjoyed it, even though it's, like I say, it's a loss, but that'll just spur them on for this year. I know the young boys have already started back in. They've been in for a couple of weeks. I know some of the boys are back in on Friday, and some of those older boys are in towards the end of the month. And I'm really eager to get back training, and I want to be well, if I'm playing centre this year, I want to be the best centre in the league, and I'm going to leave no stone unturned. So I'm going to be training extra hard, and I'm sure that the boys are going to be doing the same thing. So, like I say, I'm looking forward to this year kicking off. So, a few more weeks with my little boy getting up at crack of dawn every hour and changing nappies, and then I'm really looking forward to switching the switch and turning into a rugby player again.
Well, it's a great answer and a great way to reflect on the grand final, as well as some new stories that fans may not heard before. And it's great that you mentioned Sean O'Loughlin and his retirement too, because he had a big influence at Wigan during his time at the club. And I have to say, to thank someone for actually making this podcast happen today. Alongside Lockers, you have recently joined him to be a brand ambassador for a new Wigan-based gym wear company, Atmos Strength. How delighted are you to be a part of this upcoming brand's journey? And what can you tell the viewers and the listeners about Atmos Strength?
I'll tell you what I can't say. I can't say his name.
We can't. Anonymous, yeah. I said, can we call him Mr. Atmos Strength? But he didn't really like Mr. Atmos Strength.
We'll just call him the Myth. So it's a local branded company from Wigan. It's I don't want to give too much away. I don't know how much you want to reveal. Obviously, it's a guy. And he got in touch with myself over social media about a clothing brand that he wanted to build up. And he had really high expectations, and it's something that people do get free stuff sometimes. You'll get a free T-shirt or a hat to promote on social media with your followers, etc. And there's not many ambassador roles that I've actually been asked to do or done. So I asked him for quite a lot more information. I just don't want to say, yeah, it's a nice T-shirt, here we go. But it was really keen for it to go far. I could see he's, I've had quite a lot of messages on Instagram. Then I got his number, and he was talking to me about how I want to take the company up, how far I want to take it, and with the help of myself, and I think there's Ben Curry, there's Sean O'Loughlin on there. There's a few other guys as well who some I'm not acquainted to, but it's quite a local brand. But obviously wants to make it quite big, and it's just his ambition of what he wants it to be. And we met him the other day, just through COVID restrictions and stuff with the masks and the stuff to pick up some T-shirts. And I must say, I wasn't expecting the quality. I'm not just saying this for the sake of it, but the quality of the actual T-shirts and stuff was brilliant, and it's exactly like my Nike gym tops in the wardrobe. So I was quite shocked to see how good it was. And he's got the quarter zips coming out and some shorts and stuff like that. So that if you could do the podcast and probably tag him in it, he'd probably really enjoy that. But I had the T-shirt on the other day. I tagged the company in it, and I think he's got quite a lot of followers. And I think he put some T-shirts up, and within a few hours he sold out, which is really good. And it was really shocked at how well they went. So that shows to me that he's quite humble. He's not just a guy who thinks he's going to be a millionaire by selling T-shirts. He knows where he's at. He's working from the ground up, and like I say, he's a local lad from Wigan who's tried to put his name out there and get amongst the big boys. And like I say, if I can help him do that, then I'll surely do that. So yeah, but like I say, I'll tell it exactly how it is. The gear is really good. It's top notch stuff. So yeah, it's great to be a part of it and see how big it goes. He's got aspirations. I know he's mentioned Jim King to me and stuff like that, which is it all started with just a t-shirt and a jumper and shorts, etc. So like I said, with the quality and stuff at early doors, it does show you that it means business. So yeah, I'm really proud to be a part of it, mate. And I'm hoping it does go big. And through the first 2 or 3 weeks from selling out the t-shirts and stuff like that, it's a good time.
With Utmost Strength, it is a really promising brand. I'll put the link in the description of the podcast. I'm actually a teammate of Mr. Utmost Strength. I'm not going to give it away. We played football together before. He was a lot better than me, but that's irrelevant. And to speak about football now, I'm surprised I've not addressed it sooner, and the viewers will definitely notice you're a proud Leeds boy, but you're also a proud Leeds United fan. Unfortunately, we all have our downfalls. We all have our things we're not too happy with. Yours is supporting Leeds United. To go through this, you're a massive football fan, aren't you? Tell me about how you fell in love with Leeds United, who's your favourite players growing up, and what you think of Leeds United right now in the Premier League under Marcelo Bielsa, seemingly doing well.
Yeah, so right, yeah, so if you can remember me, about 2 hours ago, but if you can remember me saying I was a Wigan Warriors supporter. Obviously, like I mentioned, my mum and dad split up, so my dad used to have me on weekends. He'd take me to like Wigan games. My dad was also a Man United fan, so he got me in the Man United fan business. So I was Man United and Wigan. So I'd come home, and my stepdad obviously was Leeds United, Leeds Rhinos, and my uncle was a massive Leeds United fan. Go to all the games, and then he's like, "What is that you got on?" So he's like, "Get it off." So they slowly converted me into Yorkshire. So yeah, I can remember going around to my uncle's always on a Saturday, watching the Leeds of old. Being really good, Ian Hart, Harry Kewell, Mark Viduka, Derek Kelly, all these top players, Rio Ferdinand back in the day, and Leeds being a symbol for greatness, really, for being the team to beat, and then obviously it went, it wasn't run correctly and went crashing down, and obviously went down with an absolute bang as well. So, and then obviously the Man United fans and the Liverpool fans jump on and give you a bit of stick, and because we've been in the lower leagues for that long, I think they've just kind of forgot. So, and we've been so much an early club for the last couple of years. We got to the in top of the Championship, we got to the final. With losing the semis or losing the final, even though we were the better team throughout the year, it seemed like we always lost stamina, lost us self-esteem towards the end of the year. And then the magic man Bielsa comes along, and it's a bit like, who's this crazy fella? Did a bit of research about him, and every club that he's been at, the fans have loved him. The style of football that he plays was something that I think Leeds needed, the fans needed. And the fans have never been away. Don't get me wrong, but the fans flooded back. The style of the football that they play is exciting. Like I tweet, like I know I get stick, and I always do, but like Man United won 1-0 against Burnley yesterday and went top of the league, but 1-0 at Burnley. It's well boring, to watch a match for 80 minutes and not have a goal. It's a bit like, okay, at least with Leeds, you're going to get goals. So that's the entertainment value I think Leeds bring to the Premier League, and I know quite a lot of people are enjoying that aspect. But it's just when you lose 6-1 or 7-2 to Man United is a really kick in the teeth, and especially when I'm tweeting before the game, especially against Crawley the other day. I was I put it out and I went, 10-0, because I thought we've got a strong side out here, 10-0. And the Twitter people come in and jumping on and keep reminding me every day that we got beat by Crawley by 3-0, and Ian Wright made a cameo appearance for 2 minutes to go, and all that stuff. So, being a Leeds fan, you've got to be a bit thick-skinned, because we've been up there, we've challenged with the best, we've been the best, we've been down below, and we're slowly making his way back up. But Bielsa, I think, is fantastic. His style of football is great. I know a few. Jamie Shackleton is a local lad from Pontefract area, from where I'm from. Who sometimes comes on. He's a bench player, but he played against Crawley the other day. He's a great young talent. Liam Cooper, I've known a number of years. I used to get him tickets for the Rhinos games. He used to get me tickets for the Leeds games. Still in contact now. He follows me. He likes, I think he supports Leeds Rhinos, but he likes Wigan Warriors to win, because I play for them, which is really good. And you mentioned Calvin Phillips as well earlier. He's the Yorkshire Pirlo, so who everyone admires. So yeah, I think we're slowly building. The owners have been absolutely terrific. We're not pumping money out willy-nilly, which is great to see. More or less, the team that you see out there is the same team that we had out in the Championship, apart from Rodrigo and Rafinha now, and obviously the centre back as well. So it just shows you what kind of tight knit group that we've got at Leeds. Like I say, I'm quite a passionate fan. I love watching them play, and to be fair, quite a lot of people, even the Man U fans, like to watch Leeds. I don't think they like to watch them win, but they like to watch them. And like I say, you don't know exactly what you're going to get with Leeds, but you're going to get entertainment value. You're going to get goals. Whether you concede them or score them is another matter. But yeah, I love. I'm like I say, I'm a local lad. I'm kind of a Leeds Rhinos fan. I'm a February Rovers fan first and foremost, and then obviously Leeds United fan. So I tried to get to as many games as before, and then hopefully when the fans are allowed back in, I'll be able to get to a few games in the Premiership and watch them against the big boys. So yeah, it's up and down season. I think if you'd have asked all the fans where would you want to be at this point of the stage of the season, I think people would have snapped your hands off. I think, I don't want to be too cocky, but I think we're safe from relegation already. I think we've just got enough points. I think we've played someone tonight. God, I'm a Leeds United fan. I've got to play. We play. I think if we play someone today or tomorrow, and if we beat them, I think points wise, normally statistically, you're safe, which is fantastic, because that's you don't want to be
40 points.
Legion.
Which is like the 40-point benchmark in it, especially in the Premier League.
That's it.
Being a Wigan fan, we used to just try and finish 17th every year. We only used to play good between between about February, March, the end of the season. I remember one year we got beat 8-0 by Chelsea and 9-1 by Tottenham, but still stayed up quite comfortably. So it just shows that you can get a good hiding, but you can still play well. And it's been a great episode. This has been absolutely brilliant. Thanks so much for giving up so much of your time, being so open and honest.
No, thank you for having me,
You've
mate.
been one of the best guests we've had. And to end the podcast now, the final question. This is a question I always like to ask different guests. And knowing what you know now and having the experiences you've gone through, what advice would you give to the teenage Zak Hardaker beginning his rugby league career?
So the teenager Zak Hardaker would give advice.
Yeah. What advice would you give to yourself as a teenager?
Well, don't drink. Lock yourself in your bedroom.
Yeah.
No. Like I mentioned before, I do believe everything happens for a reason. Obviously, there's. I think be careful who you choose to play about with, to knock about with. who's your friends and who aren't your friends, and what's important, what's most important in your life. I think, like I mentioned earlier, I lost my way a little bit for a number of years, thinking I was probably the man, still living at home, but with the really expensive cars and going out on big nights out. But if there's one thing I could change about the future, well, future, if I was going back, is just stay true to yourself. But in the meantime, just watch out for the distractions, because there's plenty of them out there, and enjoy life, because obviously you never know what's going to happen around the corner. But there's not that much that I'd say I'd like to change, because I feel like I'm the person I am today. I've kind of been shaped and molded by all the bad stuff that's happened. So I won't say I'd change much, but just the advice I'd like to give myself is probably think about the future a little bit more, and in 5 and 10 years' time, I said about the here and now, and don't waste all your money on silly things either. Try and save as much as possible. So there's bits that I'd change about myself, but quite a lot that I wouldn't, even though I've had bad things happen to me, just purely because of the person that I am today, and I'm pretty comfortable with who I am today and where I've been and what I've done, and I'm looking forward to the here and now, mate.
Absolutely, and what a great way to end the podcast. Congratulations on your story, everything you've been through, and the birth of your son Abel. We hope he's doing well in his first few weeks, and I hope you've enjoyed coming on the podcast today. It's my first ever Rugby League podcast. We're hoping to do more in the future, and what a way to start.
No, brilliant, mate. Thank you for having me. Like I say, I don't mind a podcast, don't mind a chat. So yeah, thank you for having me, mate. And if you need me again, you know where to find me. So thank you very much.